Hey there, welcome back. I'm Mark Dumas, and this is episode 4 of the Laboratory of Irreproducible Results. We've been developing an interactive electronic sculpture of mechanical pixels. Way back in episode 1, we designed and developed this tile of 16 pixels. You can see I'm using these little coils of bicycle chain. There's 16 of them there, and on the back, 16 motors to turn them and some electronics. And everything's held together with this 3D printed tile. In the past episode, we actually had a 4-tile array of these put together into a sculpture, and we're doing some fun interactive things with it. In this episode, which I think will be pretty short, I'm just going to cover 2 things. One is the redesign of these actual pixels, the actual arrangement of those pieces of bicycle chain. I'll cover why and how I did that. And then also it occurred to me that it might be kind of fun to scroll some text across the sculpture. So I've had some fun doing some really interesting programming over the past few weeks to get that working. So why did I redo the pixel design? I'd started noticing as we grew the sculpture to be a little larger that there was more blank space around each pixel than I was comfortable with. Here you see the old pixel on the left and the new pixel on the right. And what I did was redesign the pixel and the clip. The pixel's got an extra half link of bicycle chain in there, and of course the clip had to be redesigned to hold it in a little bit different way. And here's a side view. I decided to tilt the pixel back a little bit so it's flatter to the sculpture, and that'll help fill up the space around the sculpture, around the pixel as well. And here's a video of the sculpture halfway through the conversion or the upgrade process. You can see on the lower half of the sculpture are the old pixels, and the upper half of the sculpture are the new pixels. You can see how there's a little bit less blank space around the pixels on the upper half of the sculpture. So not a revolutionary visual improvement to the sculpture, but I wanted to take care of it now before I increase the size of the sculpture anymore. Let's take a look at the scrolling text demo. Let me plug in the Arduino, go through a little startup procedure, and there we see the ubiquitous hello world message. So this was kind of a fun programming project. It's not a lot of code, it's only about 175 lines of code. But it was fairly difficult to code because I wanted to avoid the case of simply assembling a big raster pattern in memory of the Arduino and then scrolling the sculpture through that pattern. I was afraid that that would chew up the available memory on the Arduino really quickly. So I put a little bit extra effort into the program by doing a couple of indirect pointer references for each pixel so that the actual pixel information goes pretty directly from the stored font pattern right to the rotation of the servo. A little bit extra effort, but I think it was worth it, and I think this is going to come in handy on the larger sculpture. The result here is that I'm only using about 20% of the program space and about 30% of the volatile RAM space, so pretty proud of that. So let's wrap up episode 4 with the update on the mechanical pixel and the confidence that I've got now on the reliability of the individual building blocks. I think it's time to do another expansion of the sculpture. So I've got parts on order, and I'll be working on that for the next episode. In the meantime, I'd love to hear from you. If you've got any questions about how the project has been implemented or suggestions, I'd love to hear from you in the comments section. And in the meantime, keep on making.